Hi, this is Kurt Bennick. I'm with ForConstructionPros.com. I'm here with Sarah Jensen with OEM Off Highway, and we're here to talk about what's going on, the COVID's impact on the manufacturers and the dealers in the industry, and what it looks like today and going forward as we're trying to get back to actually producing vehicles again. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Kurt. How's it going?
Pretty good. Truck manufacturing ground to a halt in the middle of March as the COVID-19 pandemic took hold. Plants shut down, and to protect workers, many vocational truck users deemed essential businesses witnessed significant slowdowns, while others had to temporarily suspend operations. This contributed to a plunge in Class 8 truck orders to their lowest level in the modern era. Matter of fact, FTR reported that order activity was 44% below March and 73% less than a year ago. Unbelievably, only 4,000 Class 8 trucks were sold in March, bringing the yearly total to just 160,000 units. But now, we're actually turning a corner. The end of April saw many of the Class 8 manufacturers start to come back online. However, it is not easy to simply bring plants up to full production, and customers will remain cautious about placing new orders.
It's been much the same in the heavy equipment space. A lot of OEMs and suppliers had to temporarily shut down or reduce shifts, and because of the safety concerns and just equipment demand really went down in the first quarter. Many of them are starting to reopen their facilities and ramp up production, although equipment demand is still expected to be low for the next several quarters and possibly won't pick up again until 2021. But as manufacturers are starting to reopen, they're putting a lot of new safety practices in place to help protect the health of their workers and prevent any further spread of the coronavirus. Recently, ABC's Nightline interviewed both AEM's president Dennis Slater and employees at Cummins' Seymour, Indiana facility about these new procedures, how that's going for manufacturers, and sort of what are some ways the industry is adapting and will continue to adapt going forward.
The Cummins engine plant reopening last week after shutting its doors amidst the crush of COVID-19. Eager employees returning to find a slate of new safety protocols.
I'm not someone who can just sit around the house, so I was ready to come back.
Are you experiencing one or more of the following symptoms?
We're asked a series of questions to make sure that we're not feeling ill. Then we got our temperature checked.
You're good, thank you.
Thanks. We're given a mask for today. Thank you. Then you're ready to go to work, build some engines.
It's getting through the uncertainty part of it. Manufacturing in any business hates uncertainty.
Dennis Slater represents equipment manufacturers nationwide.
How do they plan for what's next? How do they know how many machines to build, how many employees to have? So I think what you'll see there is they will start to react to how can they make not only their work sites safer, but then maybe make their machines more efficient.
We've been lucky enough to speak to some companies that have been able to adapt, but there are a number of companies that are not going to survive this. And I'm wondering, do you see a silver lining?
I think the silver lining is some of the things we're doing today will help us as we go forward that we wouldn't have done if the economy just stayed going strong. It is going to force us again to look at how we make our machines with technology more productive, more efficient.
Thanks, Sarah. And I know manufacturers have developed plans to protect workers, including health checks before entering the plant, reconfiguring the production line to allow social distancing, which recommendations are about 6 foot spacing where possible, and installing protective barriers where this is not possible. Workers are needing to be retrained in safe procedures to prevent possible spread of COVID-19, and breaks and shifts are being staggered to minimize congestion as employees move around the plants. Depending upon the size and complexity of operations, it's going to take a while for the plants to get working efficiently. Ford and Ram Trucks, manufacturers of medium-duty and heavy-duty commercial trucks, recently shared their detailed plans for restarting their plants. We have worked closely with the unions to establish protocols that will ensure employees feel safe at work, and every step possible has been taken to protect them, says Mike Manley, the CEO of FCA. Reconfiguring the plants is a major challenge. In the case of FCA, Ram Trucks parent, This meant 17,000 workstations had to be analyzed and evaluated to meet social distancing recommendations. And more than 4,700 job areas and workstations were redesigned or protective barriers were installed. So it's quite an extensive task. Similarly, Ford introduced detailed standards and precautions that will be used in reopening its plants. We've been working intently on how to restart our operations and safely bring our employees, and we're ready, says Jim Farley, Ford's Chief Operating Officer. He adds, we have gone through and trialed these processes. Production of F-Series trucks requires 4 production plants, approximately 19,000 employees, and 2,000 U.S. suppliers. To get these plants up and running, a handful of workers were brought back to install safety equipment and put new safety protocols in place. The company has been developing a plan to safely reopen since it closed to protect workers from the spread of COVID-19. A comprehensive playbook with procedures and protocols detail how the Ford team will work together to keep everyone safe and healthy.
And I don't know what you've been hearing so far in the industry, Kurt, but I know one obstacle that's been mentioned is just get the supply of PPE and sanitizing products. It's already been difficult for many companies throughout this coronavirus pandemic, and now with more companies starting to implement new safety procedures and starting to ramp up production, it could be a challenge, we've heard, for some companies. I know many manufacturers have also shifted their manufacturing over to producing PPE and donating it. And many of those manufacturers are now producing it for their own employees, such as Mercedes-Benz over in Europe. Its tailoring department that makes a lot of the interior decorations for vehicles has been making face masks for use at Daimler facilities throughout Europe. And then AEM recently announced it's partnering with the Merrick Group to provide manufacturers with a source to procure PPE sanitizing products as well as display graphics, because many manufacturers are now having to put up new signage to remind people of the new safety protocols and keeping a safe distance of 6 feet or more between workers. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that will continue and going forward.
Yeah, Sarah, in addition to the manufacturing efforts on the plant side, a lot of the manufacturers are also focused on trying to make the dealership experience safe. And they're helping the dealers position themselves for reopening. Some of the manufacturers are working with their dealer networks to ensure the dealer and customer safety during the pandemic. Volvo and Mack trucks are using certified uptime process to promote safety and social distancing. These companies implemented the certified uptime process in 2016, initially to help dealers build best practices to increase repair efficiencies and enhance the overall customer experience. Central to this process is the Assist communication platform that enables remote communications and automates the documentation for a service event, keeping all information in one place and minimizing in-person contact with the customer. This allows repair services to be completed with minimum internal interaction at the dealership. One of the dealers, Vision Truck Center in Ontario, Canada, is a Mack and Volvo certified uptime dealer that has just instituted a policy requiring 100% paperless process. All service jobs are handled through the Assist platform with no paper routing. The Assist platform has made it possible to have a paperless process in order to minimize human contact. Our entire staff has remained focused on certified uptime process while we make sure we don't compromise the safety of our customers or employees, says John Slotgroff, owner and dealer principal of Vision Truck Center. No paper is passed throughout the site. Team members communicate via Assist, allowing technicians to receive and view work assignments on their iPads, while also allowing fleet managers to complete visibility into the work being completed. Another dealer, Affinity Truck Center, with 2 certified uptime locations in California's Central Valley region, created a process for quick, accurate service check-ins. As trucks enter, they trigger a bell in the service office. A technician thoroughly disinfects each truck before it is driven through the gate. Each new write-up is handled through a secure, tended entryway, equipped with a sensor that alerts the service staff when the customer enters. Specifically installed plexiglass barriers separate the customer and the service advisory during check-in. Now that the weather is heating up, Chris Paris, the service manager at Affinity Truck Center, says they are actively looking into additional ways to keep customers safe and enable them to practice social distancing in a comfortable indoor environment. Along with custom plexiglass shields and floor markers in both parts of sales facilities, the dealership is in the process of opening a larger customer waiting room with dedicated restrooms. Kunal Didi, Volvo Trucks North America Director of Customer Productivity Solutions, says, "We are seeing certified uptime dealers across the U.S. and Canada going the extra mile to maintain standards of excellence while ensuring human safety throughout the service process." So as you can see, both manufacturers and dealers are taking steps to reopen and try to get back to a normal operating procedure.
It'll be interesting to see how it all continues to proceed, and if there are any further technological advances that come from it or other new safety protocols that they put in place.